On this episode of DC On Screen, we are making fun of the dubious claims that Christopher Nolan is resurrecting the Snyderverse at Universal. We talk about Flash's weird success on streaming, get the lowdown on Blue Beetle's villain, and talk the animated Watchmen and Crisis on Infinite Earths, and honestly, a lot more. Don't let this week's runtime fool you. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Salutations, my fellow food lovers. This is Chef Mark here from Johnny's Italian Steakhouse, and I want to tell you about our filet Oscar. This premium filet is topped with Johnny's lump crab cake, grilled asparagus, and our signature béarnaise sauce. But the start to any great night always begins with a killer appetizer, and I recommend trying out our jumbo pan-seared sea scallops with Brussels sprout slaw tossed in Johnny's hot bacon dressing. It is so good. I know that you will love my filet Oscar as much as I love preparing it, so come to Johnny's tonight. Johnny's Italian Steakhouse, Village Point Shopping Center, Omaha.
Welcome into DC On Screen, the podcast that's been bringing you the news and the reviews for the DC Multiverse on film and television since 2015. I am your host, David C. Robertson, and this, my stalwart podcasting companion, Jason Goss.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
Oh,
So
a bit
tired.
beat.
A bit beat. Well, I'm assuming that's in a bad way.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to a Sunday nap.
I understand. So, you want to just jump in? What?
Post shenanigans nappery.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You want to just jump in?
Dive the absolute hell in.
All right. So let's get to the Flash.
Okay.
Might be the last time the Flash is first up. Looks like it probably will be.
Might be mentioned in passing from here on out based on the news cycle.
Yep. So we've got that Flash box office update, 268,101,309 worldwide.
So she broke even pretty much.
No.
Right at?
They're still saying they're about $200 million in the hole.
Okay. If it was $200, I'll just pitch in myself and get them over that hump so I could. Just so I could say it made it.
But what's weird is Game Rant
reports of the budget varied though, right?
What?
Reports of that budget varied a little bit though, right?
Yeah, I mean the budget was 200 to 220 million, and then the thing that varies a lot is how much they spend on marketing.
Yeah, I think we've got before that. Except for that one Super Bowl commercial, I don't think they spent more than about $45 on it.
Man, they were marketing the hell out of this movie. Honestly,
really?
Like I saw it everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, there were reports that went from 37 million to 160 million. I have no idea what they actually spent on this as far as marketing goes.
Well, maybe that's very, very intentional, precise marketing, because I don't feel like I saw it very much at all, but I was already going to see it. So well done.
Yeah.
You already had me. Don't spend money on me.
But you know what? Game Rant is saying that The Flash was #1 across video on demand services last week.
Sweet.
Including iTunes, Google Play, and Vudu. And that was $19.99 to buy the film digitally. So they might recoup a little bit of their losses.
I mean, they've got my money on that one.
Yeah. And by the way, The Flash is available currently for purchase on digital. And if you're a listener of DC On Screen, you ain't got to pay. Drop us a line at dconscreen@gmail.com. As long as we got the codes, we'll hook you up with a Movies Anywhere digital code for free. We don't have many of them.
While supplies last.
So we'll be giving them out first come, first serve. You can also drop us a line on X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads.
I'm going to laugh every time you say that.
I know.
Just going forward. I'm sorry, everyone.
It's fine. But yeah, this time you don't even have to share our shit or rate us. Just write in. Just let us know you're out there if you want it.
Just say yes, please.
They released this Flash deleted scene. Did you see this thing where it revealed a little bit behind why Michael Keaton's Batman retired?
No, I know the content of it because I think we talked about it even, but I didn't actually stop and watch it.
Okay. Yeah, it was basically just like the two Barrys in the back of the Batwing talking, and the younger Barry was like, no, I hear that like he killed a guy in front of his kid.
Yeah.
And older Barry's like, no, he wouldn't do that.
Even accidentally, it's going to weigh on you.
I like that. Like Batman became he who made him who he was, you know, like that's, and that's a solid, I think that's almost as impactful, and I would love to see it. That's the only thing. Like, I feel like if we saw it, it would be as impactful as that great Batman Beyond bit where he's having the heart attack and he pulls the gun and then like looks at the gun and realizes, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, there's that, but there's also, I mean, that would, speaking to Keaton, that's a perfect 89 reference.
Mm-hmm.
What's that thing on the roof about like, you made me, then I made you, or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Precisely
that kind of thing. I do love the idea of the scene. The kernel there is, or the storytelling seed is pretty beautiful. I like that. I think you sent me that link like a week and a half ago. I forgot at the time, and I hadn't thought about it since you just mentioned it. But I very much like the idea.
Yeah, I really like the idea. I think they should have. The scene was not very long. I think what they had, they should have left in. Honestly,
I wouldn't mind it. I almost wish, in general, before a movie came out, if there was like a poll where you could ask the audience, like, "Hey, the runtime's currently hour 24. If I put in all the scenes we're thinking about taking out, it'd be like an hour 36. Who's up for it?"
Mm-hmm.
Just put it out like an excerpt poll, whatever the fuck we're gonna call that stuff going forward.
All right. So, by the way, and we used to say this all the time. We don't say it very often anymore, but if it's been released, we are going to talk about it, spoilers and all.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you haven't seen Flash yet, if you just haven't gotten around to it, I understand, but we're about to spoil some stuff.
But see, I like how you do that because at least there's the warning right there. Flip ahead if you want to.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just going to cold cock your ass with this stuff. Like,
Yeah. A few weeks ago, or since The Flash came out, there was this kerfuffle about like who played Jay Garrick, who played the old like 50s Jay Garrick or whatever.
Yeah.
We know now it was Flash editor Jason Ballantyne.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Yeah, they were like, hey, we're just going to do a CGI thing, and he was like, no,
like Teddy Sears.
He actually doesn't. If you actually look at it, you're like, no, yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Even Teddy Sears
I did look at it with my eyes, and at the time I thought it was, but
yeah, even Teddy Sears saw it and said, I don't know, it looks like me, but I mean, I don't know. I've been like in this house with a kid, like I'm not getting any sleep. You'd think I would remember, but maybe not.
No, it looks like me, but there's not enough bags under the eyes. He looks like he still has a soul. That can't be me.
Yeah,
I am tired. I could have recorded that though for sure. They
were totally gonna do an all CGI Jay Garrick Flash, and rightfully so. The editing team was like, that's going to look bad. There needs to be an actual face on there. And he like jumped up and was like, me. And I was talking about cameos in The Flash. Nicolas Cage was talking to USA Today about his cameo. And he says, I was glad I didn't blink. For me, it was
it's a weird starting point. God, I love Nicolas Cage some days.
Yeah. He said, for me,
you could ask him anything. He's like, well, so I asked my chicken, what? Nicky buddy, what?
No, it makes sense. He's just saying the cameo was small.
It is.
Blink and you'll miss it. He says, for me, it was the feeling of being actualized. Even that look for that particular character, finally seeing it on screen was satisfying. But as I said, it's quick. If you really want to know what I was going to do with that character, look at my performance in City of Angels. I was supposed to play Clark Kent after City of Angels, and I was already developing this alien otherness playing this angel. That is a perfect example of the tonality you would have gotten from Kal-El and for Clark Kent. Clark would have been a little more amusing, but Kal-El had the sensitivity and the goodness and the vulnerability and all those feelings that were kind of angelic and also terrifying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie in probably, 25 years.
I know, man. I kind of need to go back and look at it.
I wouldn't mind it. It was a good movie when I watched it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember it was a big deal.
Some of the songs were part of my childhood for sure.
Oh, of course. Got to have Goo Goo Dolls, man.
Got to have Goo Goos. Got to get you some Goo Goos.
Popping on over to Blue Beetle, the next upcoming DC film. Susan Sarandon is talking about her Blue Beetle character. She's going to be playing Victoria Cord in the film. Now, I'm glad I looked at this, too, because I thought she was playing Cord's wife or his ex-wife. She's playing his sister. And it says,
it's all the same.
Ted apparently tanked Cord Industries and then disappeared. Susan Sarandon said she's a woman who is very smart and was dedicated to the family business. And then the father gives it to the son, which is a huge shock. On top of that, the son is very irresponsible and basically destroys the fortune that has been built, and then just disappears, leaving her to put the business to sleep. Then she builds it back, but with great resentment, because she's been passed over. Here she is, the only one who really made the family business her life. She has no family. She has no friends. She's not interested in anything but Cord Industries. She doesn't shop. She doesn't hang out with her girlfriends. She doesn't have a lover. And if she does, it's nobody important. So everything has gone towards the building of power.
A widow of business, as Scrooge puts it.
Mm-hmm. She says, playing Victoria Cord represents the theme of imperialism. Sorry, Victoria Cord represents the theme of imperialism in the name of democracy. My character is really the one who's driving the charade in order to get wealth and uranium and what other natural resources under the guise of making the world safe for democracy. That rang a bell. All of those themes I thought would really be fun to dabble in. All right, well, in a recent interview with Den of Geek, the Blue Beetle director, Angel Manuel Soto, confirmed that the film focuses on Jaime, but the allusions to Dan and Ted could potentially lead to more in the future. He says, her relationship with Ted and the fact Ted has a daughter is very present in the movie. A lot of Ted's gadgets are also important to the film. So being able to keep the idea of Ted and Dan Garrett in the movie and how that came to be does help Jaime understand what he's going through. Some of the people around him are fans of Blue Beetle. It's Jaime's story, but the context still exists, and a lot of it was thought out and executed and done with the intention of bringing someone back in the future.
Don't mind it a bit. I mean,
we'll see.
I wasn't impressed by the second trailer, but in general, like I said before, I think I'm going to enjoy the movie. But I've always been torn. I mean, I like both major Beatles, so I don't mind some sharing a lot of screen time on the storytelling there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or though, even if it's just in heritage form.
Right.
Posthumously.
I mean, I hope the movie does well, and we're not getting good trackings for it.
No, I mean, it's people are going to have to show up like for real asses in seats or we're screwed. But I mean, that's the case with everything, but there's no guaranteed built-in 250 baseline or some shit, clearly.
Yeah. And, it's very standard practice for them to build in reshoots into the schedule, into the budget most of the time. And the Hollywood Reporter
with all this CGI, it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, according to Hollywood Reporter, the Blue Beetle wrapped principal photography last July. It was a 54-day shoot, reported budget of $120 million, and Warner Brothers said no to reshoots. Soto asked for reshoots, for 2 days of reshoots, and they said no.
That's funny. Not surprising for that time frame. I mean, honestly, that's back when we were surprised it didn't get canceled like Supergirl, or Batgirl, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a period of time where I just every day expected to hear that, like, oh, yeah, by the way, we abandoned that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, according to the Quorum, which tracks film awareness and interest, Blue Beetle is projected for 10 million to 13 million opening weekend. That's terrible.
That's going to be rough, yeah. I know for certain. I will be there. I presume you will at some point over the weekend.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Us, Snyder, and a couple of his kids.
Yeah, you saw that too, huh?
Past that and a few of our friends, I don't have anybody in my life who's talking about this movie yet. And I hate it for it because it's probably going to be just fucking fine. But like, it's not a water cooler thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I often have people who just generally will know of my nerddness and will come up and ask me about stuff. And, it's often got like a huge misguided, well, I saw this thing about so-and-so. Like, no, listen, that's a clickbait headline. Listen. And you just sort of walk them through, no, here's what actually happened, or here's what's actually going to happen, or here's why that's BS, or whatever. Not a thing. No one knows.
Oh, we've got some clickbait bullshit to talk about.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so according to listings from AMC Theaters, Blue Beetle is going to have a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. So at least you won't have to pee for very long.
Yeah.
And apparently Blue Beetle tickets have gone on sale.
That works. I'll do my part and go buy some just to help the pregame.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like you mentioned, Zack Snyder posted across his social platforms this awesome Blue Beetle poster. I think is from Entertainment Weekly or something.
It is a good shot.
It says, looking forward to taking my kids to see Blue Beetle. # representation matters. # Blue Beetle. Yeah, Snyder bots. Zack is going to go see the movie with his kids. He's not boycotting.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, let's go over to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I did one last quick thing with Beetle.
Okay. Sure.
You and I have both joked about how we have absolutely no investment one way or the other about George Lopez. Just could not care less one way or the other. But
you said that. I can't stand him.
oh, you don't like him? Okay. I am so incredibly neutral. Like he very much is someone that I would never seek out. But when when he's on screen, sometimes he tells a joke and he makes me laugh. I just forget he exists the moment after. But they did a little hype trailer, I guess, about a minute or so of like this pre-recorded asking some questions, and they asked the crew or the cast, him and a couple other people are there, and this one actually cracked me up because he's like, what was the favorite snack on set? And the guy who plays Jaime is like, just anything with cheese, really. And they pan over to George. He says, edibles.
Oh God!
All right. I didn't see it coming, George. Good job.
Wow. Alrighty.
It got a chuckle out of me, man. It got a chuckle out of me. It was the most I've been excited to see him. It's the only moment I've been excited it was him for a moment. Was like, oh yeah, he can be funny. I do remember he actually can be funny.
I haven't seen it yet, but
it really is. I hate it for him. It's not like I don't know what the deal is. It like I'll see him, I'll get a couple laughs, and then like I said, I'll just move on with the rest of my life afterwards.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're gonna move on to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. THR reporting that the budget was over 205 million. That's what they said. Before the multiple reshoots, which, by the way, multiple test screenings, re-edits, and reshoots of Aquaman between summer of 2022 and now. They had two different Batmen. Looks like they will not be in the movie together. So Michael Keaton's Batman was originally supposed to follow his debut with The Flash with a cameo in Aquaman 2 that cemented him as the Batman of the DCEU from now until presumably Crisis on Infinite Earths. Then Ben Affleck's...
Say we're not doing that.
Then Ben Affleck's Batman, once they got Abdi and DeLuca in there, Ben Affleck's Batman was the one making an appearance. Now James Gunn and company have reportedly approved a third set of reshoots that supposedly went well. And this article says could help better position Lost Kingdom for the new DC Universe franchise reboot that follows. So more hands in the cookie jar.
We'll see. I mean, it's no harm, no foul, man. Like if they just scuttled that movie right now, just burned the hard drives with everything that last one made, they'd still probably have 200 million over what they've spent on Aquaman as a product.
Maybe.
And between that and all the post kind of franchise shit, like all the toys and everything, they're fine. The first one just did so damn well out of seemingly nowhere.
Who could have known?
I mean, looking back, I did not see that coming beforehand, and then now that I've watched it a few times, it's a great movie. It's gorgeous too. Like, but dear God.
Yeah, watching it, I'm not looking back at it. I'm not going like, of course it did so well. I'm still just going like, really? I mean, it's okay.
No, I mean, I thought it was genuinely good. I just didn't think that many people would actually show up for it, and then there they were, over 1 billion.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's crazy.
I didn't. Yeah, never expected that one. But, oh my God,
it's crazy.
As a college stoner movie, though, so pretty. That has to be a percentage of the sales. I think I've talked about that before.
All right. Well, you know what? I think this is actually a good time. We're just going to hit a break real quick because we're not going to be a long episode today. And we're going to get into some of this crazy clickbait that we've been seeing around the interwebs. We'll do that right after this.
Introducing Carvana Value Tracker, where you can track your car's value over time and learn what's driving it. It might make you excited.
Whoa, didn't know my car was valued this high.
It might make you nervous.
Uh-oh, market's flooded. My car's value just dipped 2.3%.
It might make you optimistic.
Our low mileage is paying off. Our value's up.
And it might make you realistic.
Car prices haven't gone up in a couple weeks. Maybe it's time to sell.
But it will definitely make you an expert on your car's value. Carvana Value Tracker. Visit Carvana.com to start tracking your car's value today.
All right, we are back. And I might just make this the title of the episode just to get in on the clickbait goodness. Is Christopher Nolan bringing Snyderverse to Universal?
May I get in on the spoiler version of that real quick?
Sure.
No! No, he won't.
Oh my God. So yeah, this cat on the app formerly known as Twitter
Should we call it that just to make it more convoluted and annoying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe. Zod Rider. No, look, I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him. He says, I am hearing Christopher Nolan is likely to bring the Snyderverse at Universal Picks. That is all. Pause, not stop. The true story of release a Snyder Cut and restore the Snyderverse. Now,
he's gotten offers for like 10 years and he has no interest whatsoever in putting another super movie out. Like,
now,
none.
Well, he is friends with Zack Snyder.
Oh,
that's
where
where people are getting this, and lots of people have been like, where's your source? What's your source? Blah-de-do-do. And other people are posting lots of other clickbait sites. Now, look, I'm telling you this. The first one is from Cosmic Book News.
Great stuff.
You can't trust Cosmic Book News.
Great
you just
stuff.
can't.
No, I think they just wake up and write whatever they were dreaming about the night before sometimes.
Yeah. And it says, I'm told David Zaslav plans on selling Warner Brothers Discovery within a couple of years, quote unquote, hopefully, to Universal, as Universal has been kicking major ass as of late with not only the success of their movies, Super Mario, but Universal is giving Disney a run for their money with their Universal Studios theme park. Harry Potter is there with the movies from WB. Mm-hmm. And then someone else on Twitter said Nolan is currently the creative advisor for Universal Pictures and is already making a plan for when he buys Warner Brothers, because Donna Langley is interested in rescuing the DC Monsterverse and especially the Potterverse franchises that are essential for the future of his parks. And that plan includes the Snyderverse, which he created and produced with his friend Zack. Now, as an addendum, sort of feels like a hanger-on, or maybe it was prior to it, rumors that James Gunn has refuted, by the way, that says Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav ordered James Gunn to stack Superman Legacy with more DC characters to lure potential buyers. And that comes from YouTuber Sil Abdul, another person to not trust ever. Mm-hmm. and Gunn has said that is not true. That is not true. So, I do not think Christopher Nolan, I don't think David Zaslav is going to sell DC. They might sell Warner Brothers.
I think Warner Brothers altogether is where I'd put my money if I was going to go between the two.
And maybe it'll go to Universal. Who knows? I don't think this is happening.
And if I had to pick a likely place, that's probably my favorite right now too. But
yeah,
not my favorite for where I'd like to land. I just mean the one that I think would be
the most likely.
Yeah, could afford it and could actually like mount a thing like that. I mean, it's one thing to have the money. It's another thing to be able to actually, like, what's the point of buying a horse unless you can actually ride it?
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that, if it happens, fine. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't believe any of this shit, though. Nah. Like, the usual suspects are there. We've got... Dude, it is so bad.
Where's Grace? Where's Grace? Is she going to show up?
No, it is so bad. I don't know. I'm sure.
She'll be here any minute now.
It's so bad that even We Got This Covered was making fun of the rumor.
That is rough. Yeah. When We Got This Covered actually has it covered. Shit done gone wrong.
Yeah, they're just like lampooning it and just like, oh my God, this delightfully ridiculous.
Dumbest story I've ever seen.
Rumor. Yeah.
Also, like, what? I mean, yeah, like, oh man, Universal's doing great. Yeah, how'd your monster franchise go?
I know.
You took lore that has been around for hundreds of years because it's undefeatable. It's part of the public zeitgeist in every possible way. Like, without a doubt, stuff like vampires, werewolves, ghosts, mummies is, dear God, I'll use Lennon's phrase, as popular as Jesus. Everyone fucking knows about these concepts. Mm-hmm. And you failed.
Over and over again.
Over and over again. Which is funny because I've actually seen a couple of those and they're not even that bad, but they did not take on.
No, nobody cares.
I mean, the Underworld franchise did better, for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at on that. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah. That one ain't happening. Throw the whole thing away.
Yeah. And I saw a lot of headlines. Zachary Levi breaks silence about his DCU future after Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
I saw some quotes. Can I sum it up with an emoji? Because it's just the shruggy emoji. Is that about right?
Yep. Over on the Film Up podcast, he said, I don't know. That's No, he said, I don't know what the future holds because Fury of the Gods was not well received. I have no idea where we go from here. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Probably not anywhere, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm. So that hasn't been decided. I did like this piece of news. Jim Lee, The DC Chief Creative Officer, Jim Lee.
The man
is,
himself.
Speaking up, man. Praising James Gunn for making sure to point DC fans towards the comics. He says it's amazing to have partners in Peter and James Gunn, particularly James. He was a comics fan growing up and knows our mythology inside out, and having that kind of ally in the live action space allows us to really leverage what he is doing and allows us to market and sell comic books to new readers. These are people who are interested in his movies, his TV shows, and if they want to take a deep dive into these characters, he directs them to the comic books. And THR
He's
says...
done a good job with that. Lee's not wrong.
He has.
I mean, he gave me a reading list, basically, to watch Legacy.
Yeah.
Which we have to get around to. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow was going to be an episode for us at some point.
Yeah. And THR is reporting that the comic book sales have increased double or triple digits since James Gunn started pimping all this stuff.
Cool.
And he says at the end of the day, there's the business of DC, and then there's the content engine that creates all the DC content, from the comics to animation and movies and stuff like that. But it's that connection between comics and media that we're celebrating here. I was hopeful when I would go into Books A Million and not be able to find a copy of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Oh, I couldn't even Amazon that shit.
I couldn't find All-Star Superman in my local stores.
Yeah. I had that one, thankfully, because they were gone. I mean, gone. They felt gone.
I mean, I have them in individual issues because I got them first run. But
the Woman of Tomorrow thing? Or
no,
All-Star?
All-Star.
Oh, yeah. No, I have trade of that and the other one. I'm still mad about this. Like Woman of Tomorrow was one of the ones I was like, no, don't. I'll get it later. And then, saw reviews of the first few issues and thought, fuck, that was a mistake.
Mm-hmm. I bet you're getting Human Target now, ain't you?
Oh, I have that one. I got OG on that one.
Fair. All right, so arguably the best Batman movie ever made is getting a 4K Blu-ray release for its 30th anniversary. Batman Mask of the Phantasm comes out on Blu-ray September 12th, the 4K Ultra Blu-ray, and pre-orders are live on Amazon. I would highly suggest you go get it. If you've never seen it, you got to watch Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, come on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, genuinely, if the way you phrased it, arguably the best Batman movie ever made, if that's, if you balk at that, and you've seen it, great. You have your opinion, and great, good for you. I'm not even going to say you're wrong. But if you haven't seen it and you balk at the idea that this old ass animated movie could be in that running, fucking go see it.
Mm-hmm. Grab it, rent it, do whatever you got to.
One thing to have an opinion after the fact, but if you're worried about it and you haven't seen it, man, you're just missing out on something. It's special. It's amazing.
It is. It's really good. Oh, by the way, speaking of really good,
it will make you cry.
Harley Quinn.
Just warning.
Oh yeah,
you will cry.
Absolutely. Harley Quinn, the new season has premiered on HBO, or on Max, I guess we should call it now. The app formerly known as HBO Max.
Yeah, whatever. the purple one that used to be blue, and then we're going to talk about it on the black thing that used to be blue. Is that about right? Or no, wait. No, it's the blue thing that used to be purple.
Yeah.
And then the black thing that used to be blue. This is getting stupid. Everybody
but anyway.
Stop rebranding shit for just a hot fucking minute.
Harley Quinn is out. Go check it out. It's a phenomenal show. And speaking of things that look stupid, Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2.
You say stupid.
I do.
I say it's a movie about crypto, which in the trailer looks like Deus Ex Crypto. And cool. I'm in.
I knew you would be. You love crypto too much.
I love crypto so dearly. It's also dearly. Honestly, I was joking to myself, and then I looked up the actual cast real quick, and I was like, man, I haven't actually watched or given half a damn about anything Scooby-Doo related since Matthew Lillard was crushing that role back in the day.
Yeah.
And then I looked, and there he is in the credits.
Yep, he's playing Shaggy.
Yeah.
We got Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo and Fred Jones, Matthew Lillard as Shaggy Rogers, Kate Micucci as Velma, Gray Delisle as Daphne, and Wonder Woman. And it's also got PJ Byrne as JB, Victoria Grace as Mercy, Charles Halford as Lex Luthor, Nolan North as the Joker and Superman, Tara Strong as Helen, Lois Lane, and Harley Quinn. Fred Tatasciore as Solomon Grundy and Matthew Perry White. James Arnold Taylor as Jimmy Olsen and Rex Luthor. And Nicole Thurman as Mayor Fleming. And it will be available on September 26th to purchase digitally from Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Google Play, Vudu, and more. In the US, DVD will be available to purchase on September 26th in store and online only at Walmart. And in Canada, DVD will be available October 24th in store and online at retailers everywhere. You can also pre-order your copy now. I say it looks stupid, but it also looks fun.
It can be both.
To be fair.
It can be both.
It can be both.
Absolutely fine.
It can be both, and it might be.
I will watch it at home with my family.
Of course.
We will all be paying varying amounts of attention, but we will probably enjoy the 2 hours.
Or the 90, 80, whatever it is. Yeah. 80 minutes. So did you see at SDCC they announced an animated Watchmen movie?
I did.
It's going to be R-rated. I don't know what they're.
How do you make a Watchmen that's not R-rated? I mean, some of the major plot points are genocide and rape. Like, those aren't just themes or something. That's stuff that, like, without it being in the story isn't even there. You have to actually do another story entirely.
Yeah.
And, that's without all the violence.
But that's all we know. Like, we don't know if it's going to be, like, set a little after Watchmen, or it could be a sequel, or a prequel. I'm assuming it's just a straight-up adaptation. Yeah.
I assumed adaptation. Being that I enjoyed Snyder's Watchmen as much as I did, will, and have, and continue to, I didn't really need another animation of that, but I'm excited for it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a number of other properties that I think animation would be extremely suited for that would be new that I would enjoy, but I don't think I'm going to disagree with this, for God's sake.
Yeah. They also announced Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm-hmm. Saw that.
And it is an animated film, and it is not, according to James Gunn, it is not in his DC universe. Apparently, a bunch of people thought it was. I mean, for some reason or another.
Yeah, because you can use a crisis to do whatever. So there's probably some daydreaming happening about what could be. But I agree with him. If I were Gunn, I would absolutely avoid putting a crisis in anything connected to the universe before I got it started.
Mm-hmm.
You save that shit. You don't kill a Flash until a few years in.
But I can't help but wonder, like, what are they going to include? What are they going to include in this Crisis on Infinite Earths? Because it feels like it's begging for, like, its own bevy of cameos.
I mean, it could be, but it's also Crisis. I mean, the original Crisis was done before we cared about cameos, and it was still a smash. So they could just do a true version of it. Just tell the story. There's enough there. Like, you don't have to have all the falderall with it.
Yeah.
Clearly enough. So we had crises after it. Continue to.
Right.
I'm still trying to catch up right now because I'm behind on comics. I'm still trying to catch up, and I've read Dark Crisis because it looks fantastic.
It does look pretty good.
I'll meet you there.
So, this new animated movie, Justice League Warworld, is rated R. We talked about that, I think. And
my same comment. How do you do that without R?
Right. The producers, Jeff Wamaster, Jim Krieg, and Butch Luckick were talking to Screen Rant about why it was rated R, and they were like, well, the nudity is very tasteful. And they were like, no, there's no nudity. It's mostly rated R because of the violence. There's a lot of bloodletting, sword fighting, and gunfights. The violence and then the R ratings coming from that. Originally, honestly, it's PG-13. If you cut out the blood with swords and guns, there's nothing. There's not a lot left.
That's accurate to the stories. I mean, like, the parts of the comics I'm up to right now is like, Superman's been on Warworld for a minute. I think he's off now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's off now in present time, but I'm still catching up to when he gets off there. Like, he's just been out there with, a fraction of his powers, beating the shit out of people with a dull sword.
Mm-hmm.
And it's brutal. I think half of the Authority got killed or some shit. I forget. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have, man. That's our show.
We can call it for now. We can call it.
You feel good about it?
We might as well, because the dog's gonna lose her fucking mind again. I apologize. I couldn't put her up for this one. So
no, it's fine. One last note. We're on all the places. If you want to follow us, we're on X, we're on Instagram, Facebook, all that bullshit. And you can also write into us at dconscreen@gmail.com. We're on Patreon. Huge thank you to the patrons. And we're going to try to get some new exclusive content out soon. Patreon.com/DC on screen. It's $5 a month for the whole shebang, $1 a month if you just want to get the episode, every normal episode, ad free. And that's it. That's our show. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, keep some DC on your screen and some dogs barking.
If you made it this far, I hope I got enough of the dogs out to not be the worst.
Hey, thanks for listening to DC on Screen. Our theme song is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford of Galactic Engineers. The incidental music is by Michael Shackelford and Kevin MacLeod. You can rate the show on Spotify or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Doing that really helps push our show to new listeners, so your help would be much appreciated. You can also contact the show at DC On Screen on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. To become a patron and get ad-free episodes and exclusive content, go to patreon.com/DCOnScreen. Your reviews and feedback may end up on a future episode of DC On Screen. DC On Screen is a production of Maladjusted.tv in association with Stranded Panda. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever damn platform you use.